um, social science class. So today we're going to talk about economic crisis and national policy in Canada in 1875. Now you're going to see me as this bubble right here. I'm going to move around the screen and you can actually see me interacting with you. All right. So let's go with the first part. So I'm going to go down and I will talk about economic crisis. So in 1817, Canada is in an economic crisis. So Mr. Macdonald, the prime minister just right here, he decided to put in place something that is called the national policy. Well, right now, Canada is in an economic crisis. That means that is not going well at all with the economy. Let's have a look at what just happened in Canada during the 1870s. Okay, so during that day, in Canada, industries encounter a lot of problems because the USA industries are doing a lot better, all right? The USA products are cheaper and people buy things from the USA, all right? So let's imagine that in that moment in 1870, well, you have industries, you have Canadian industries and you have American industries or from the United States, okay? So the industries in the United States, they're selling things that are cheaper. Elles sont beaucoup plus économiques. That means that people tend to buy more things from the USA. Les personnes achètent plus de choses des États-Unis et par son conséquent, les industries canadiennes n'ont plus assez d'argent pour pouvoir continuer. So what happens next? Well, just right next, some industries close. Il y a des industries qui ferment. Then people, well, they do not have a job because industries close. Well, people do not have a job. And as a consequence, in the third place, well, the population does not have enough money to buy essential things. Les personnes n'ont plus assez d'argent pour s'acheter les choses essentielles comme de la nourriture, des effets pour se soigner, des effets pour prendre soin de lui-même, même pour payer le loyer. C'est extrêmement difficile à ce moment-là et la crise économique fait en sorte que le Canada passe par des moments qui sont difficiles en termes d'argent. All right? So it's very, very complicated at this moment. That's why Mr. Macdonald decided to put into place the national policy. So the national policy just right here, he proposes three different things to make sure that Canada is going to be all right for the next few years. So let's start with the first one. So I'm just going to go right here. So Prime Minister Macdonald, he decided to add taxes to the USA products. Donc, Monsieur Macdonald a décidé de mettre des taxes sur les produits des États-Unis. Cela veut dire que ces produits vont avoir un prix, on va leur demander d'augmenter les prix juste pour les produits qui viennent des États-Unis. All right? So taxes is an extra amount of money that population needs to pay for a product. Well, guess what? USA products are then more expensive and people prefer to buy Canadian products. Donc, les personnes préfèrent d'acheter des produits canadiens parce qu'ils vont devenir beaucoup moins chers que les prix des États-Unis qui ont des taxes maintenant. Alors ça, c'était une façon de M. Macdonald de dire, bon, ben voilà comment on va faire que les gens achètent des produits du Canada. Second thing, well, increase the population in the West. Prime Minister Macdonald, he decides to attract more people from Europe so they can live in the West. Il y a le Canada Est et le Canada Ouest. Lorsqu'on parle de Canada Ouest, pensons un peu où se trouve la province du Manitoba, all right? The soil in the West, and there is a mistake just right there, my bad, just right here. So the soil in the West is very fertile. Donc, le sol à l'Ouest est vraiment très fertile. Donc, l'agriculture peut très bien fonctionner. Mr. Macdonald wants people to go to the West to make sure that new immigrants will be able to produce cereals. Donc, ça veut dire les immigrants, ils vont pouvoir cueillir des céréales ou faire vraiment toute la partie de l'agriculture dans l'Ouest pour nourrir la population. En plus, in addition, more people, s'il y a beaucoup plus d'immigrants, il y a beaucoup plus de consommation, more consumption, et s'il y a beaucoup plus de consommation, ben, il va y avoir plus d'argent pour le pays. That's the second thing that Mr. Macdonald decided to do. And then the third thing, oh, sorry, before I go to the other one, this is an example of a poster publicity they actually did in the 1870s to make sure that people from Europe are going to be interested in Canada West. So you see, it says Canada West, the last best West, homes for millions. And you have an example of a picture where you see people actually producing cereals, and that's exactly what Mr. McDonald's wants. He wants people to go to those provinces, like for example Manitoba, to make sure that people are going to stay there and help produce more food. Third thing, it will be to develop the railroad. Donc on sait très bien qu'on veut faire un chemin de fer, and Prime Minister McDonald, he decides to make the railroad longer. Il veut que son chemin de fer soit beaucoup plus long et qui connecte les différentes provinces. This railroad connects a lot of different big cities in Canada. New immigrants can go work on that project. En plus de faire le chemin de fer beaucoup plus gros et beaucoup plus long, il y a de nouveaux immigrants qui vont arriver. Et plus les villes importantes vont être connectées, ça va être mieux pour l'économie. On va pouvoir s'acheter et se vendre des produits de l'intérieur du Canada. So that's really important. Mr. McDonald, he decides to put three different il décide de mettre 3 mesures différentes pour que l'économie du Canada puisse s'améliorer. All right. The economic recovery. Donc, on va parler vraiment de la relance économique. After the national policy. Qu'est-ce qui se passe après ça et comment l'économie du Canada s'est améliorée? So here I have an example and we're going to go one by one. I decided to put this kind of diagram because if one of the colors work, it makes work the other one. So let's have the example of the first one. Well, new immigrants arrive. In second place, people buy more and more stuff. If people buy more and more stuff, then actually the taxes from the USA products makes people buy Canadian products. Donc, tu as plus de personnes et en plus, les produits sont taxables des États-Unis. Plus tu as des personnes, plus tu achètes des choses, mais des choses de où? Du Canada. In fourth place, well, if you have more and more people buying stuff from Canada, then Canadian industries start working once again. Donc, les industries canadiennes vont commencer à travailler à nouveau. If industries are working right now, well, people are going to get more jobs and more jobs are created. Donc, beaucoup plus de le travail va retourner, les personnes vont avoir leur travail. Et s'il y a des personnes qui ont leur travail, ça va bien se passer pour l'économie. And finally, in sixth place, this is the last thing, the railroad allows for interprovincial economy. Donc, il va y avoir de l'économie entre les provinces, plus avec tellement les États-Unis, mais ça va être à l'intérieur. So it's going to help the economy a lot. All right, so we're going to go to the conclusions, just a little bit of a recap. So before the economic crisis, USA economy is doing better. People do not buy enough things from Canada. Then the economic crisis arrived. Canadian industries have a hard time. Some of those industries closed and people lose their jobs. Then Mr. McDonald decides to put in place the national policy. He proposes 3 different solutions. For example, taxes, making people go to the West, and build a railroad. And finally, after the national policy, we see the economic recovery. Those just makes people buy things, once again, from Canadian industries, and they actually, those industries are gonna get, they're gonna work a lot better, they're gonna create new jobs, and the economy is going to recover fast. Okay, so I hope you like it, and see you soon for the next social studies capsule.